ICCA's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Jacob Yarrow. Jacob is the Director of Programming at Hancher at the University of Iowa, but here today in his role as one of the board members of the Iowa Cultural Corridor Alliance, which is a consortium of some 150 organizations, of which, full disclosure, both Hancher and KCCK are members, all presenting arts organizations that put on events all up and down our cultural and creative corridor. So I'll be anxious to hear whatever is coming up and what you are planning for the fall at Hancher. Maybe give us just a little tease, but before that, let's talk about some of the items that you've picked up out of culturalcorridor.org that are coming up here pretty soon.
Absolutely. ICCA is thrilled to be a representative of our really wonderful arts and culture community here in the corridor and to represent 11 counties throughout the region. And we have a lot of wonderful things coming up. I'd encourage people to check out culturalcorridor.org as a wonderful resource to find all sorts of cultural events that are happening around the region. But a few that I wanted to highlight today, the Friday Night Concert Series continues tonight in Iowa City.
Kicked off last week, didn't it?
Kicked off last week with a great Chilean band called Inti Illimani.
And that was one of yours, right?
Yes, that's a show that Hancher worked with Summer of the Arts to present. And this week features the jazz ensembles from Iowa City's two high schools, so City High and West High. Jazz ensembles will be out there. That's become something of a tradition at the beginning of the Summer of the Arts calendar and the Friday Night Concert Series. And it's a great time, and the Ped Mall is always a wonderful place to hang out.
We, of course, had a chance to present both those bands as a part of the Corridor Jazz Project just a few weeks ago, and they are both smoking hot this year. And I'm sure they're leaving nothing on the stage for what's probably their final public performance.
No doubt, this would be the end of the line for the seniors moving on, and the last time those bands will be together.
So those start. Let me see. Friday night concert. That's a 6:30 start, right?
6:30 to 9:30. And Summer of the Arts also has coming up in, I guess, a couple weeks. June 5th to 7th is the Great Iowa Arts Festival. So will be coming up in a couple of weeks.
Lisa was in a couple of weeks ago, and we ran down the list of
Excellent.
They might as well have, I said this at the time, they might as well have gone into Dennis's favorite 80s and 90s bands. And just gone into my iPhone and said, yeah, let's bring Sean Colvin, let's bring the Bodines, let's bring Mark Cohn. So yeah, I'm going to be spending a lot of time, I think, in a lawn chair in front of the stage. Arts Fest weekend.
Always a great festival, no doubt. And some other things I noticed: the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art sounds like they're having a really fun fundraising event this weekend on May 29th. I guess a week from now on May 29th. Called Clue, the detective game event, where they encourage people to dress up as their favorite characters from Clue. I'm not sure what my favorite character would be.
Well, I always go as Mr. Green.
Well, fair enough. You have no choice, I guess. But with drinks and food, dancings, and some sort of Clue game going on, a silent auction, it sounds like a lot of fun, and that's at the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art. And also I noticed the Eastern Iowa Arts Academy in Cedar Rapids is having a Junkin event, where they have antiques and collectibles, art and furniture, estate items, a bunch of things called Junkin for a Cause. So they're raising some money by having a big junk sale.
Yeah, the Eastern Iowa Arts Academy does programs. Well, some of them are in the schools and some of them are at other locations, but they're to serve generally elementary and middle school age, I believe, unless they've expanded even further. Grown a lot in the last 5 or 8 years. So.
Yeah, they seem to be doing remarkable work, and you always need funds to sustain that sort of programming.
That's right, because no one is throwing more, as we well know, no one is throwing more money at the schools so that they can do more arts programming.
Exactly. So it's such an important part of what the arts organizations in this region do that it's always great to get out and lend all of our support to it. And one other event that's in Cedar Rapids at CSPS with Legion Arts is the great musical trio, Red Molly, who I've been a fan of for a long time.
Tell me about them.
It's like 3-part harmonies, kind of Americana sort of things, gorgeous vocals, and the 3 women in the band really blend so wonderfully. So I'm excited about that coming up on Sunday night, May 24th at 7 o'clock. And Legion Arts always has a better ticket price if you buy in advance than at the door. So.
And remember that it's a holiday weekend, so Sunday night is not a school night.
Exactly.
So if you want to go see the show, you don't have to think about getting up for work or school the next day.
Certainly part of my family's calculus. I think that makes it far more likely that we'll come from Iowa City.
Right.
No doubt about it. And the last thing I was going to say is farmers markets are now probably in full swing, if not completely in full swing. And those are great cultural events. It's a great way to get some good food, but also to hear music.
There's always
do
music
activities
and art
yep, exactly.
and everything like that. Jacob, thanks for coming in and talking about all the events that are happening with organizations that are a part of the ICCA umbrella. But give us just a little capsule preview of what's on the agenda for Hancher as we head into summer and fall. I know you guys will be taking a break, but I probably won't have you up here until it's time for the season. So what do we have to look forward to?
Yeah, we will be announcing our 2015-16 season on June 15th. Is our date to announce, and it's going to start with a couple of free outdoor events. One of which is the Iowa Soul Festival, and we'll be presenting the first night of the Iowa Soul Festival again for the third time in a row. And we haven't announced the headliner yet. I don't believe we have not, which is really exciting. But I will announce a band that I love that's going to open for the headliner, which is John Cleary and the Absolute Monster Gentlemen. John Cleary is British, but he's lived in New Orleans for the last 20 years. He's an incredible keyboard player and singer. He's actually toured extensively with Bonnie Raitt and a ton of other people as their keyboard player, but as a leader, it is such a soulful, funky band. And the Absolute Monster Gentlemen is with John and then bass, guitar, and drums. And it's a band that I've been trying to figure out how to present for 6 or 8 years, and finally found a perfect slot for them there. That'll be great. I'm a big fan of the TV show, the HBO show Treme, and John is featured throughout Treme as a piano player, mostly solo, but sometimes with his band. So that, I think, is a good insider's tip. Check out, especially for the listeners of KCCK, check out the John Cleary set at the Iowa Soul Festival.
Okay. All right. Well, and I'll mark my calendar for the 15th of June and make sure that you or Rob Klein gets up here to give us the full lineup of what's happening and this will be the final season prior to the opening of the new shack, right?
It will be. The new Hancher Auditorium is coming along really well, and we should be opening it. We should be moving into it about 5 or 6 months before it opens, so we can spend a lot of time figuring out how to work everything and make sure all systems are go for the opening, but that will be in September 2016. And I am up to my eyeballs in making plans and sending out offers and trying to figure out how to maximize the potential of that facility to engage artists and audiences all around the region.
Well, it has been a great 6 going on 7 years. I know that it was obviously a disaster to lose the original Hancher, but just kudos to you and all of the staff for figuring out ways to present programming in spaces big and small and indoor and outdoor and just wherever we turn, there's something from Hancher happening, and I think that's been a great blessing. A lot of fun as an audience member. Pain in the neck for you guys to figure all that out.
We're deeply committed to connecting artists and audiences, and being able to explore so many different places and venues and ways to do it has been really exciting and fun, and we feel like very impactful in our community. So
I
makes
agree.
us happy.
And only more things to come. Jacob Yarrow from the University of Iowa's Hancher. Thanks for coming here to talk a little bit about Hancher and also items on culturalcorridor.org.